What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper, episode number 83 of our 24-minute recaps. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on all platforms at YouTube, at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcast. Follow us on Spotify, and, of course, to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. So, for tonight's episode, brought out the glasses, the old school look. For anyone that knows me, I wore glasses my whole life until college, actually. So the non-glasses look is actually the unique one that people aren't used to. But since in Dime Dropper, I guess is the debut. Hopefully not the hopefully the first of not many, because I could be actually getting LASIK surgery to never have to use glasses or contacts again. So, yeah, I'm possibly doing that. So, we'll see. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff. The Lakers and the Sacramento Kings tonight on the agenda. The return of LeBron James. I did not expect that this morning. I saw that and I was like, wow, okay. LeBron wants to kick it into high gear. You know, playoffs are like 9 or 10 games away. Let's see. For the Lakers, they going into tonight, 10 games remaining. So LeBron's like, you know what? Let's get it. Get back on the court. No De'Aaron Fox for the Sacramento Queens, as Shaq used to say. But the Lakers, first time seeing them basically fully healthy. No Alex Caruso, but Drummond, Anthony Davis, and LeBron. And in the beginning of the game, they came out with a pretty lax energy on defense. I think that without De'Aaron Fox, they completely underestimated this Sacramento Kings team. Rashawn Holmes and USC guy Chimezie Metu started at the 5 and the 4, along with former Clipper. How could you be Mohawkless at the 3? And then Buddy Hield and my favorite rookie, Tyrese Halliburton, in the backcourt. And I thought that, I thought they had good energy. Chimezie, Mo, Buddy, Tyrese to start the game. But I thought Drummond was pretty piss poor to begin the game. Missing easy chippies and getting put in the pick and roll and, playing a little too high up on the ball handler. He's not the type of guy that's got the speed nor the agility to make up the ground of two guys, help and recover. So he needs to, honestly, more often than not, either back off and just stay with the roll man to prevent the lob and just step up at the last minute on the guard, or fully commit and know he's got a guy behind him rotating over to his man. Because Andre Drummond in the pick and roll is slow-footed, and he honestly hurts the Lakers' defense, in my opinion, more than he helps. He has the occasional block. He has the occasional rim protection, but it's honestly not that much better than Gasol's verticality in my mind. Honestly, seeing tonight, one of the players that reminded me who the Lakers had this season was Damian Jones. Somebody who I thought actually did a pretty good job protecting the rim and being an athletic player for the Lakers when he was signed to those 10-day contracts, and the Lakers just let him go. And obviously went with Drummond, the bigger name. But I saw somebody tweet tonight that Damian Jones shot 90% from the field as a Laker, which obviously doesn't invalidate that he played amazing. But I'm just saying that, I thought he was a little bit made more sense, because I think that this move of bringing in Drummond has really taken one Montrader out of his normal rhythm. Tonight, he only got 14 minutes and he had 9 points. He was minus 11. You know what that sounds like? Glorified Summer League Montrader numbers. So, it's with all these cooks in the kitchen now, and you want to get AD back in rhythm. You want to get LeBron back in rhythm. And in the beginning of the game, LeBron was getting everybody else in rhythm. But the Lakers were lagging a bit behind. The Kings came out and threw the first punch. But after one, the Lakers were down 7, 30-23. But I thought when the game was 30-17, LeBron came back into the game, and he did a really solid job of just taking control. He really took the game into his own hands as if he hadn't missed a day of ball, just making passes that nobody else on the Lakers can make bullet passes, behind the back passes, putting guys in situations that they otherwise would not be in without LeBron's ability to pass the ball and gain that much attention. And because of that, not only were players scoring like your Ben McLemores of the world, and Marc Gasol came into this lineup in the beginning of the second quarter and was able to spread the floor. And Marc has just been really solid all season long, honestly, despite the critics, despite the fact that he's not good in space, not the best in pick and roll. What big man for the Lakers has really been great in the pick and roll this season? Anthony Davis is good, but AD hasn't had his best year defensively either when he's played. Nothing like last year. But anyway, that lineup in the beginning of the second quarter for the Lakers, I thought that LeBron and Marc did a really good job. And I thought that a lot of those passes LeBron was making was causing not necessarily an assist pass, even though he had the intention of that, but it just got the ball moving. It would get a guy in a position to shoot, but somebody would put hard, so he makes the extra pass, and then that makes an extra pass. And LeBron's never going to get credit for that, a hockey assist or the pass to the hockey assist, but those passes, those opportunities do not come without LeBron's initial first pass that beats a line of defense. That allows players to have to play in catch-up mode in the half-court set. LeBron was really running the show for that period of time. He was starting to get to the rim. He got a couple generous foul calls, like Sacramento got some harsh foul calls when they came to defending LeBron. But the refs kind of reciprocated that in the second half in favor of Sacramento at times. But LeBron, he got back in rhythm. He had this one mover, Chimezie Metu. He didn't know what league he was playing in. This is the NBA. This is one of the greatest players of all time. Leaning all your weight on LeBron, easy spin. Montrader actually had one of his 9 points came with a similar spin move to go baseline. But LeBron was starting to feel it. And the Lakers started to go up. The problem was to end the second quarter, the Lakers again took their foot off the gas and got a little bit complacent. And when LeBron came, out of the game, it hurt a little bit, but he still came back in to end that second quarter, I believe. And I don't think that they let the Kings get within 1 point at 56-55. Anthony Davis was good, but I think that, again, I've said this so many times, even dating back to the glorified summer league, that when Anthony Davis is playing with another big man, but one that isn't a floor stretcher or floor spacer that operates around the basket, he likes to sit more at the 18-foot, 15-foot three-point line area, which when you're the defense, you are comfortable with this. I'm letting you guys know. You Laker fans think that it's all good. Oh, like he's, because AD can shoot the ball like that, you guys are going to win like that. I don't believe you will win like that. I believe that you're going to have more AD at the 5 because he is less resistant or less hesitant to get his ass on the block or get his ass in the mid-post time and time again. He doesn't. Like, here's my thing about Anthony Davis is all these younger fans want to talk about he can do this, he can do that. But what about when the moment comes where you need that very it? He oftentimes needs LeBron to do it for him. He, to me, and I really am high on Anthony Davis and have been since day one, but to me, he honestly needs that guy next to him that's going to want to just. And right now, LeBron is at his confidence peak. Here in year 18, he knows he's the best player in the league, basically. He knows he's got the greatest resume of anyone in the league and up there with the greats in the history of the game. He has the most confidence he's ever had in his game. And you can just tell because of the way that he has declined athletically, barely, I might add. But how obviously I still think defense has gotten a lot worse in the league. The league players have gotten stupider, and we're going to get to a prime example later in this game. But LeBron, the game has slowed down for him. He just makes it look easier now too because he's older and he's studied the film and he just knows these guys and he knows these teams, and it's easy for him to pick them apart sometimes. But anyway, let's continue with the second half. So the Lakers kind of let those Kings back in the game. And I think that was, again, a moment of complacency, much like the first quarter to start the game. Third quarter, really solid intensity on defense to begin. I thought Drummond was a lot better. I thought he was showing and recovering better. But there were a lot of times where the Kings were able to make that pocket pass because Drummond or Montrader, when he was in, cannot cover the ball handler and then recover in time. And they got a lot of those push one-handed shots that a lot of these big men in today's game have gotten their arsenal. I'm not saying players in the past didn't. They would just go for more, catch, fire, mid-ranges, two hands, normal. A lot of these guys, for whatever reason, with their momentum, stepping into it. They like the one-handed push shot, like your Steven Adams of the world, Tristan Thompson's. But Rashawn Holmes is one of those guys that has that shot in his arsenal, and he can hit that from around the foul line. And he was hitting exactly that. And I loved his energy. I call him Baby Trez. I always have. But honestly, he's not that much worse. I just think Montrader has more. Jesus Christ, I've called him Trez a couple times in this podcast. Anyway, I think Montrader has more skill in the post, but Rashawn Holmes he's better defensively for sure. He had a good night of 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists on 9 of 14 from the field. So very solid night at the office for Rashawn Holmes. I thought that Damian Jones in his 17 minutes was good. He had 10 points on 3 of 4 from the field. I don't think Marvin Bagley was that bad. He hit a 3 in the second half, and I saw him. He had 11 points. He finished in double figures in 4 of 9 in 21 minutes. Keeps some good efficiency. He's definitely not as good as his grandpa, though. Jumping Joe Caldwell. If you didn't hear that on the broadcast tonight, I found out they were related the last broadcast. So that's really funny. Not as good as his grandpa, though. Are you kidding? That's an all-star right there. Anyway, So the Kings, right? So the Lakers in the third quarter, I liked their defensive intensity. I thought Schroeder was good. I thought KCP was sharp, closing out, moving his feet on guys when he was put in one-on-one situations, getting over screens. Schroeder had a play where he hustled by the scores table to save the ball, and KCP scored a lefty layup. It just looked like it was rolling on all cylinders for the Lakers. Drummond was getting offensive rebounds. Drummond scoring-wise was good tonight. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 7 of 11. He honestly should have been like 9 of 11, but that was the best period of the game, or one of them for the Lakers in that, third quarter. They outscored the Kings by 9, 32-23. And LeBron, honestly, he had his beginning run where he played in the third quarter and then he went out. But I thought that the Lakers and AD did a pretty good job overall. I thought Dennis Schroeder, though, the one thing, I feel like he's a little nervous that his touches are going to go down and stuff like that. And he's going to start rushing things and panicking. And I think he's one of those players that needs to be in rhythm. And I wouldn't say that he took himself out of rhythm tonight, but I think that he chose certain moments to stay quiet, and then he chose certain moments to just try to go pick and roll every time. And I think that I understand, that's the balance that he's trying to find, but it's very difficult to not really look for your shot for a certain amount of time in any level of hoop and then come back in and try to get going. Without a free throw or a bone thrown, only special breed of players can, like certain breeds of players can, not even do anything. And then all of a sudden they just turn it on. I don't know if Dennis Schroeder is that guy, but, we'll see how the Laker offense tries to keep everybody incorporated